We are just moments away from kickoff here in North Carolina. ESPN College Football presented by Cars.com. And this afternoon, the Demon Deacons of Wake Forest, who are causing quite a stir in the ACC, take on the 15th-ranked Tigers of Clemson University. For Wake Forest, they have not been 6-0 since way back in 1944. And as far as Clemson is concerned, they have lost their last two meetings here to Wake at Grove Stadium. In fact, one of the players suggested to us, Ed, during the week when we did our interviews with the Clemson players, that there might be some demons with these Deacons here. That's the kind of ball they're playing, and that's the way they have played against the Tigers. Well, and Clemson under Tommy Bowden has struggled against opponents that they shouldn't have, and this is one of them. Wake Forest much better this year than they have been in the last couple, but I think Tommy's got this team over the hump. This team seems very focused, a lot of senior leadership helping them play well after big games. Coach Bowden, and now you get a look at Jim Grove, 5th season as the head coach at Wake Forest. You see his record, 31-32, 2-3 against Clemson, but he's won the last two. And if the consensus is, when you talk to other coaches about this gentleman, and he is just that, he's a gentleman, is that he can get blood out of a turnip now, and that he's got some very good players this year to go along with his great coaching staff's ability. Clemson won the toss. They defer to the second half, so we'll see Wake on offense first. And this kick is going to be brought out from 5 yards deep. 15, 20, 25, 30, at the 40. Gets by the kicker. Got one man to beat at the 20, 15, and bumped out of bounds at the 5-yard line is Kevin Merriam. 93 yards on the opening kickoff return. There are demons in this building, I'll tell you. Well, and for Tommy Bowden, it was Kevin Merriam last year who broke Clemson's heart. He had a touchdown with 33 seconds left to give the Demon Deacons the win. This thing just wide open. And we talked earlier today to some of the coaches from Wake Forest. They were so excited to have Marion back. He is the fastest Deacon, but give credit where credit is due. This thing opened wide up, and the fastest player for Wake Forest just ran right through a humongous hole. That is their career long, and you see they will start with 3 in the backfield in a stack-eye formation. D'Angelo Bryant, the man at the top of the eye, 2 fullbacks in front of him. Penetration by Clemson. Here comes a flag in late as the run will go down to about the 3-yard line. And I think Gaines Adams, in his attempt to tackle him for a loss, may have gotten a hand on a face mask.
Incidental face mask against the defense. 5 yards from the end of the run. Half the distance, still first down.
Tom Zamorski, our referee today, veteran crew from the Atlantic Coast Conference. That's exactly what happened. So it'll be first down. And let's talk about the quarterback, Riley Skinner, a young man who actually was number 3 when practice started this year. And when Ben Mock went down with the broken arm and shoulder, and Brett Hodges had dislocated a shoulder, Riley Skinner, redshirt freshman, came in, has done a nice job not turning the ball over, Ron. That's been the key to this start. Same offensive set. Bryant, left side, fights his way to the 2, now down to the 1. Is the ball loose? Everybody scrambling. Clemson says they have it, and they do. The Clemson Tigers have averted points on this opening drive after a 93-yard kickoff return. Bryant coughed up the football, and Dwayne Coleman is the man who made the recovery, a senior out of Naples, Florida. Let's take another look. Well, Micah Andrews went down against the University of Connecticut with a torn ACL, and D'Angelo Bryant came in. And one of the reasons that Bryant didn't start earlier in his career was because of fumble problems, and C.J. Gaddis from his strong safety position came up and put a shoulder on it, but that should not have caused a fumble. Bryant's got to have 2 hands on that ball near the goal line. So Jim Grove looks on thinking, what a golden opportunity we just frittered away. Will Proctor, the quarterback, Davis, the tailback, gets hit behind the line of scrimmage, and he's going to be stopped for no gain at the 1-yard line. And let's talk about Will Proctor, the senior, Winter Park, Florida, the starter at quarterback today for the Clemson Tigers.
And a lot like Riley Skinner coming in, fifth-year senior, first-year starting after being behind Charlie Whitehurst. The key for him is not many turnovers, 2 interceptions on the season. He's got so many weapons around. He doesn't have to do a whole lot of throws down the field.
Gives it to Davis. Left side, and boy, you see this defense of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. That's Jameel Smith is the man who came to make the hit first. So let's take a look at the offensive starters, brought to you by Nivea for Men. Up front, second in the nation in points, 43.4. Richardson, Fry, Dustin Fry, Nathan Bennett, and Marion Dukes, 121 career starts with all of those guys on the front. They got a tough situation here, though, with a 3rd down and 10 from their own 1.5-yard line. Rain all last night and this morning. Tough handling of the football. Lobs it up on top, and he has a completion at the 40 to Aaron Kelly, a sophomore out of Marietta, Georgia, on a 3rd down and 10. Patterson and Patrick G with the cover, but not close enough, and it's good for 41 yards.
Kelly comes to the inside, and the cornerback squats on the outside. It's deep thirds coverage, and G, the safety, is just completely late getting over there, Ron. So the safety's got to get there.
Sorry. First down at the 42-yard line. A moment ago, in danger of picking up a safety when Davis got hit behind the line of scrimmage and held on. C.J. Spiller in the ball game at tailback. Somebody's blown a coverage wide open up the sideline. The ball is caught and the tackle made at the 26-yard line, and it's James Davis out of the backfield, and somebody just did not locate him.
Absolutely great call by Rob Spence, the offensive coordinator, known as a screen team. Watch as Davis comes out to block. He's going to run by. They think it is going to be a screen to Kelly, but Davis runs right by the corner that the corner thought he was going to block. An excellent call by Spence, breaking one of their tendencies.
So on back-to-back plays, 41 yards and 31 yards. They go up the right side, and that is Davis with the carry inside the 25-yard line. And now it is Clemson who is threatening at the 22-yard line. Defensively for Wake Forest, allowing only 10.6 points per game, which is 9th in the nation. 2 senior safeties, number 30, Patrick G, and number 22, Josh Gaddis. Their defensive coordinator says, these 2 guys make it so that I can sleep at night. Very good ball players. 2nd down and 5, Clemson. They run it back into the short side of the field. Davis turns the corner and is knocked out of bounds at the 16-yard line. That should be enough for the first down as Josh Gaddis comes over from his free safety position to make the tackle.
Well, because of the wealth of talent that Clemson now has at tailback, James Davis, of course, was the ACC Rookie of the Year last year. Worked very hard in the offseason to avoid a slump in his 2nd year. This has become a run-based team under Rob Spence. A lot of people used to a Tommy Bowden offense throwing it down the field, but really this is a run-based offense now.
Walker hands it off to Davis. You see those big bodies in front and then covered up in black as the Demon Deacons are there to stop him for no gain. Let's check with the 3rd member of our broadcast team. Down to the sideline, Dr. Jerry Punch. Jerry?
Well, thanks, Ron. Adding to what Ed said a moment ago, this is a run-based Clemson team, and the coaches told me during the warm-ups today they want to use some bunch formations to try to basically just mash the Deacons up front and run the football with the bunch formations and outnumber them on one end of the formation. However, Wake Forest is putting 8 and 9 men in the box and making it tough for Clemson to run.
Yeah, they are, Jerry. Look forward to hearing from you today. Stay warm, stay dry down there. This drive started back at the 1-yard line. 8th play of the drive. Big opening. Davis at the 10, runs into his own man, and then is going to be tackled by Kevin Patterson, the man on top. And it will be not enough, no, for the first down. It'll be 3rd, and they'll need about 3. Riley Swanson was the man who was at the bottom of the stack, and that was a pretty good lick. As you take a look at the drive coming up on 3 minutes and 40 seconds, 8 plays, 91 yards.
And Clemson going a little more no huddle than they've shown in the previous ball games, rushing to the line of scrimmage so that Wake Forest cannot substitute.
Davis, right side, bounces it out. Going to be hit. That is a nice job defensively by the Demon Deacons. It's going to be a 4th down situation. Now decision time. Do you send the kicker out or do you go for it?
No, I think you go for it here, Ron. I think the momentum has swung your way after that huge kickoff return. And, of course, Clemson has really struggled with block kicks this year. They've had 4 already blocked. I think this is a easy call for Tommy. And you've got a veteran offensive line. Just pound it right in the middle of the quarterback sneak. Don't mess around.
They're going to bring in the chain. I'm not sure that they have the first down or not. They're having to bring it from all the way across the way. For those who follow the Atlantic Coast Conference, and particularly the Clemson Tigers, and you see what they're wearing today, they don't have the best record in the world for head coach Tommy Bowden with the purple pants, but they decided to go to them because they've worn gold here. They got beat. They've worn white here, and they got beat. And the kid said, hey, we're not superstitious, but let's wear something different, okay?
Absolutely.
So here they're going to go for it.
Yep, and they're going to hurry up. So Wake Forest needs get a nose guard on. So many times on short yardage, you leave the center open. You have to put somebody over Dustin Fry.
They're going to have to wait for the chain game to get out, so that did not aid their situation. The referee telling them they got to wait until those guys get over there off the field and get set. 2 tight end alignment. And you see 3 backs behind the quarterback, Will Proctor. 4th down. They need to take it to just outside the 11, and Davis stacked up. He's going to have the first down at the 5-yard line. John Abadi, the middle linebacker, is the fellow who made the tackle.
Well, James Davis, when we spoke to him earlier this week, remember the Boston College game that Clemson lost in overtime? Of course, a lot of that had to do with the block extra point. But towards the end of the game, James Davis was not in on the goal line. They had C.J. Spiller, their fantastic freshman, in there. And Davis was upset about that. And he has made it known that he wants to be in on those types of situations, and starting to prove that extra weight is paying off.
He has touched the ball 9 times in their 10 plays. Gets it again. And hit hard with a gain of 1 as he takes it to around the 4. And folks, you need to understand one thing. For people who have not respected Wake Forest in the past, there is a healthy amount of respect on the Clemson Tiger football team. And there's a healthy amount, obviously, for the Wake Forest kids looking at Clemson. But this is turning into quite a rivalry, and we've already seen some pretty good licks being passed.
Chancey Stuckey with the broken foot, not playing, and you get a little with a senior receiver out, a little tougher in the red zone with all those youngsters.
From the 4-yard line, 2nd down and goal, and they pounded it right side. It'll go for a yard, maybe a yard and a half. And the biggest thing as far as Clemson is concerned is clock, all the way down now to 8 minutes and 22 seconds and counting. John Abadi made the stop. Young man who we visited with yesterday, and I enjoy a youngster who can laugh at himself. He's not the tallest middle linebacker in the world at 5'11", but there was a quote in one of their books that said, he said, what do you want work on hardest? He said, growing a little taller.
That's not going to happen, John, not at 22 years old.
13th play of the drive coming up. Fakes it to Davis. Right across the middle. The ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Kelly, the intended receiver.
Smith.
And the flag is down in the end zone.
It was Alfonso Smith who grabbed Kelly around the waist as he was running the slant.
Now you got a difficult situation. Do you call holding because the pass was not catchable, or do you call it pass interference? The officials have made their decision. Take another look.
Kelly does a nice job, and Smith, boy, that ball's uncatchable.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, even
is it
if
holding
Kelly
or
keeps running.
No foul.
Yeah.
The pass was ruled uncatchable.
That's a nice job by Tom Zamorski's crew, because that
Tommy
ball
is
was
saying just what I'm saying, that if you don't call one, you should call the other because of the contact.
But Proctor got rid of that ball so quickly, Ron. I think that's the right call to wave that off. And now you have to kick it.
So the field goal attempt coming up. Boy, this drive started back at the 1-yard line. Jad Dean to attempt the field goal. It'll be placed squarely down at the 10-yard line. So it's a 20-yard attempt. The holder is the punter, Cole Chasen. Good pass, kick is up. Well, that's a knuckleball, but he got it. So Clemson goes on top, 3-0. And the reason they're on top 3-0 is Bryant right here with Wake Forest about to score, loses the football, and the Tigers turn it into points. We'll be right back. So welcome back. 3-0. The Clemson Tigers on top. Ron Franklin along with Ed Cunningham. And things started so quickly we really didn't get to do one on camera to begin the ball game. I'm afraid weather is now going to play a part. Rain coming down, and we've got wind gusting up to 16 miles an hour. But we already had one fumble.
And you saw what Clemson was doing on that first drive. It was a bunch of James Davis. Even though they had the one throw down the field, they want to keep it on the ground in this weather.
So that short kick is going to be taken back to the 41-yard line. And although they did not get it to one of the deep guys who could burn them for another long return, they still get excellent field position to start this second drive of the half. Now, do you look for Wake to try to run the ball and control the clock just as Clemson just did?
Absolutely. I think because of that momentum switch, Ron, so quickly everybody was yelling and screaming after the kickoff return. Then the fumble, they have to come off the field. They need to settle down and give their defense a little bit of a blow. All that adrenaline can work against you.
Kevin Harris into the ball game at tailback. Quick pass in the flat, and boy, what a hit. The pass caught by Kevin Marion, who had the long 93-yard kick return, and Gaddis was right there.
And Gaddis, who had to move to strong safety for a little bit with Michael Hamlin out, now back out to his more natural position of cornerback, read it the whole way. A very safe throw, but a good read by the cornerback who was up playing press.
Maybe they've worked on that play in practice this week. Looked as though he was in the Wake Forest huddle. Second down and about 5. Pressure on the blitz, and he is going to be sacked at the 26-yard line. It's Maurice Nelson, number 42, a junior out of Rembert, South Carolina.
Pretty veteran offensive line, but they have got to see the Sam linebacker coming in. They only blitzed one, Ron. That's 5 against 5. There's no way that they should miss a blitzing linebacker between the guard and the tackle. They've got to pick him up.
Very quickly back to the line of scrimmage. Wake Forest on a 3rd and long. The ball is given to Harris, and Harris takes it outside, pushed out of bounds at the 33, and we will see Wake punt for the first time this afternoon. Sam Swank is the guy who does everything. He punts, he place kicks, extra points, field goals, the works.
And there's a look at Vic Koenig, the second-year defensive coordinator last year. Tommy Bowden switching both coordinators, bringing in Rob Spence on offense, and Koenig, the former defensive coordinator at Troy, doing an excellent job with a banged-up Clemson defense.
Jacoby Ford, who's already taken one back this year, is the deep man on the punt return setup for the Clemson Tigers. Sam Swank stands waiting for the snap at the 19-yard line. 3-0, Clemson on top. Early going in the first quarter. Good coverage kick. High-hanging spiral into the wing. That is a very nice job, and they're going to touch it dead at around the 28-yard line. So let's take a timeout with Clemson on top. The workhorse for the Clemson Tigers on that opening drive. This fella, number 1, James Davis, a sophomore out of Douglas High School in Atlanta, Georgia.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com. Find the right car for you. Cars.com.
You're looking at the Wake Chapel on the Wake Forest campus. Beautiful campus. All those leaves are beginning to turn out there. In a couple of more weeks, it really is going to be a sight to see. Right now, Wake trails at 3-0. Second offensive possession of the afternoon as the snap is high, and Proctor does the brightest thing. Don't be a hero, just cover it. Let's check in with Reese Davis. Reese, what do you got for us there, partner?
Well, Ron, no freshman has scored more touchdowns than P.J. Hill of Wisconsin, taking on Northwestern in our Taco Bell studio update. And the Wisconsin Winnebago is making a run for the border. Touchdown, P.J. Hill. Wisconsin up 10-0.
I want to tell you what, the new head coach, Coach Bielema, and his staff off to a really fast start up there at Madison. It's Davis in motion, empty backfield, and they swing the pass out at the 22-yard line. That's caught by Jacoby Ford. And let's go down to the sideline and check in with Dr. Jerry Punch. Jerry?
All right, on Tuesday this week, Blidnikoff Award candidate for Clemson, Chancey Stuckey, suffered a non-contact fracture to his left foot in practice. He just planted the foot to make a cut, and he heard it pop. And the all-conference receiver underwent surgery on Wednesday to insert a headless screw into his left fifth metatarsal. Yeah, he showed up in the training room the next day and said he was going to be ready to play in a month and a half. He said, no, check that. If they think I'm back mid-November, I will be back for Virginia Tech on October 26th.
We'll mark that on the calendar. I don't doubt him, though. The ball almost intercepted. It was tipped. And I believe, yeah, Kevin Patterson almost came up with it.
Aaron Curry, who's a tall outside linebacker, right here is going to get the tip. Just reading the eyes of the quarterback, comes underneath of it. Got to make that catch. You don't get a whole lot of those. I mean, I know the ball's spinning around, but Patterson had that hit him right in the chest.
Well, he's got some raindrops hitting him in the chest as well. So not quite your normal easy tip play. So it's 4th down. They'll have to kick it away. They got the return on. Another good coverage kick. Very high with the win. And the fair catch, no, not made. And the tackle immediately at the 33-yard line, Willie Idolette. So 42 yards in the punt, 1 on the return, 4:14 left opening quarter. Tigers 3-0. Welcome back. College football presented by Cars.com, and we have a 3-0 ball game. Some of the faithful from Clemson that have traveled here to Winston-Salem. And I'm going to tell you, those are some hardy folks. And if the school had thought of it, I'm sure they would have had flu shots at halftime for those people. Skinner rolls, got a man wide open, makes the catch at the 35-yard line, and that is Nate Morton, the redshirt freshman out of Harlingen, Texas. So both teams guilty of a defensive blown assignment. 37 yards on the play.
And this was a double move route. As Skinner fakes the ball, the receiver's going to get down the field and run right by Coleman, who fell down. A good stiff arm by Nate Morton as he went to come out of his break, knocked Coleman down. Good physical route.
Coleman did a good job to get back up and to at least help out on the tackle. Running play goes for short yardage, and let's take a look at the Wake Forest offense. Today's lineup presented by Nivea for Men. 3 players who were replaced by starters. And think about this. Louisville lost their starting quarterback, Braun, and their running back, Bush. Well, Skinner and D'Angelo Bryant, same situation for Wake Forest. And Steve Vallos plays right tackle and also left. Had to be moved to left because of an injury.
And Vallos, a guy who's played all 4 positions besides center on the offensive line. So he'll move from right to left because the other guys are freshmen. They like to mix it up.
They run the reverse. That's Kevin Marion. Good job by the Clemson defense of stringing the play out. It doesn't go for much. The Clemson defense allowing only 240 yards a ball game. That's 9th in the country. Led by a couple of seniors. 93 gains. Adams, all the pros like him, 4.5 sacks. And quarterback Dwayne Coleman, converted running back, and he is 2nd on the team in tackles. Been quite a surprise and a pleasant one for Tommy Bowden and his coaching staff. Well, Vallos pointing at the defensive player, saying that Philip Merlin is the man who broke the neutral zone.
Well, Merlin was in the neutral zone, and Vallos is allowed to move.
Offside on 94 defense.
As long as the defender is still in the neutral zone, the offensive player can move. We'll take a look at Wake Forest impact player Steve Justice, one of the best centers in the country, very athletic. He'll be going all day against Antonio Clay. John Abadi, we already saw, made a tackle down on the goal line, although short, very active. And Sam Swank, who kicks and punts for Wake Forest. In a game like this with this type of weather, field position will be key, and he will be a big player in that.
Travel Woods into the ball game. Carried the ball just a moment ago. They faked an option play. The throwback at the 20-yard line to the tight end, Tarashinsky, or was it Selman? Yep, John Tarashinsky. And if the name is familiar, his brother in his forecast that will start against the University of Tennessee at quarterback today. All his family went to Georgia except him.
What a nice call by Steve Labansky, the offensive coordinator. They fake out of the shotgun the option, and they bring Tarashinsky all the way back across the field. Although it doesn't pick up much yardage, enough to pick up the first down. Excellent misdirection. Wake Forest very, very good at getting you going one way and come back the other.
Well, also it gives Clemson something to think about as far as staying at home. Shotgun formation. Right over the middle. Got a man, and that's the other tight end, Zach Selman, on the receiving end. He's a redshirt junior out of Norman, Oklahoma. You might even see Dan Callahan at tight end today. Selman a little bit, well, not 100%. He had a hip injury last week, and they've been saying, okay, we'll be ginger with this situation. But he caught that one nicely. Travel Woods back in the ball game. Red zone offense, 17 and 18 for the season. Today 0 for 1. Quarterback's going to keep it at the 10. He'll have the first down at the 7-yard line. Riley Skinner doing a nice job of faking it to the running back, keeping it himself.
You know, we watched the film yesterday of Wake Forest against both Liberty and Ole Miss. And I would say 95% of the time in this read zone, Riley Skinner gave it to the running back. So this is a tendency breaker for Clemson on defense. They expect the running back to get it. And yesterday when we were speaking with Riley about what he would do with the ball,
what did he say?
He wouldn't quite tell us, but his silence told us exactly what he was going to do is keep it. And that's a very nice job of reading that backside defensive end.
You could tell that Clemson was well schooled on that high percentage of times that he would give it to the running back, because that's where they went. And he picked up the first down.
And the whole idea with that play is if the backside defensive end, that time the defensive end to the right of the offense, if he comes down too hard, the quarterback keeps it. There is no contain. So now what you're saying to Clemson, you can't come down the line, and that opens up the cutback lane if you do give it to the running back.
Travel Woods continues to operate at tailback. D'Angelo Bryant fumbled at about the 2-yard line, and Clemson recovered it. So we have not seen him since then. 4 of 4 passing. Woods tries to bounce it outside, and with all of the backtracking, he's going to lose about 2 yards on the play. That's C.J. Gaddis. And against a defense that runs so well, particularly laterally, you got to just, you know, take your poison and go ahead.
Well, Woods made a really nice move to freeze the defensive end. He cuts it back, freezes the backside end, Philip Merling, but then he's just got to duck it and go. Woods has not been playing much, and obviously in there.
Skinner hands the ball off straight ahead. This time it was Kevin Harris, the ball carrier, and he's going to have it at around the 7-yard line. It'll be 3rd down. Now, is Wake going to come up with a pass play here? Will they continue to run it on the ground?
Well, if you're Clemson, you're expecting pass. And you can play coverage now. Vic Koenig can call a coverage. Riley Skinner, he's got all that field to his right. A pretty good runner with a running back to protect for him. Roll him to
3
the right.
wide receivers in the ball game and a tight end. 9th play of the drive. Started back at the 33. Faked it into the end zone. Touchdown, and that is Willie Idolette in the base of the end zone as Skinner froze everybody when he faked a throw to his running back, who was circling out, and then got his man in the back of the end zone, Idolette.
Ron, it was that fake. The secondary was peeking into the backfield, and Skinner did a great job of faking, then came back, and Idolette got lost by the cornerback. You can see the corner in there looking.
That's a nice throw.
Yeah, Gaddis just, his eyes fooled him. He's got to stay on Idolette.
Swank with the extra point, and here comes a late flag in. A little extracurricular activity going on in the middle of the line. The discussion going on with the officials. Going to be, I assume, or would think, a post-play violation, regardless of which team it is against. The point would stay.
Yeah, sorry. C.J. Gaddis had been playing some safety. And at safety, you tend to look into the backfield more. Now he's back out at corner because of the return of Michael Hamlin. You cannot lose the receiver in the corner of the end zone.
Battles, the captain for Wake Forest, hung around, and the referee asked him to come over and get the decision. Tommy Bowden out on the field, and he wants an explanation of what has happened.
Personal foul, number 25 of the defense. The penalty administered on a kickoff.
Wow. So that's Michael Hamlin, who has been hurt, and we were suspicious whether he would play because the coaches talked about him for a pretty good bit when we visited with him on Wednesday on the phone. But here's the situation where either a pooch kick or, you know, you're in a position to even maybe get an onside kick.
Yeah, you've got field position now with 15 yards. You're out at midfield. And the way Jim Grove coaches, where they have to get the most out of their players, sometimes they have to do things like an onside kick or a pooch.
You know, we'll try to get an explanation from the Red Hat, but from the gesturing on the Clemson side, the personal foul was coming down on someone. You remember the penalty in the LSU-Auburn game that was so huge 2 years ago.
Absolutely.
When that rule came in, and the coach was going through the motion of what the player was doing. So I'm wondering if that is, in fact, what he called.
They had changed the rule a couple of years ago that a defensive player who came from more than 1 yard away from the line of scrimmage, if he jumped and landed on an opposing player, it was a foul, regardless if he was hit into him or not. And it's a good safety rule, and I would assume that that's exactly what happened.
Now Wake Forest prepares to kick this one off as the Demon Deacons have gone on top 7-3. Let's check on the sideline quickly with Dr. Punch. Jerry?
Guys, that's exactly what happened. The player jumped and came down on a Deacon player, thus the personal foul. And an explanation was being given to Tommy Bowden just a moment ago.
Okay, thanks, Doc. That's all over it, as you always are, my friend. Here comes the kick, and they do pooch it very high, and it's a spinner. Well, no return, and with the two guys that were back there, Ford and Spiller, both sprint champions in high school, they didn't want either one of them carrying the football, did they?
But I like the attempt that time by Swank to hang it up there and challenge them, knowing that his coverage team was going to be down, hoping to get them inside the 20. An aggressive kick by Swank to kind of dare one of those young guys to bring it out.
You know, how about the situation, Ed, of Wake? They get a 93-yard return. They fumble the ball. They get no points. Clemson comes back with a very impressive drive. They kick a field goal. And Wake came right
Absolutely.
back. So, and in fact, because of all the running, this has been a very fast first quarter. We're going to take a timeout. 7-3, Wake Forest on top. The Demon Deacons, they beat them here 2 years running. Can they do it again? We'll be right back. That's 7-3, our new scorer, Wake Forest on top. And a reminder, ABC is a full day of college football. First at 3:30 Eastern, it will be the Oklahoma Sooners in their bitter rivalry against the Texas Longhorns. Then at 8 Eastern tonight, a couple of two fantastic regional matchups presented by Southwest Airlines. You'll see either Oregon and Cal or Nebraska and Iowa State. That first game at 3:30 the Eastern time this afternoon.
Please reset the game clock to 15 minutes.
It's already short enough.
Yeah, I said let it be known the timekeeper wants to get out of here. It's cold. Oh my! Players don't seem to be bothered as at least the rain has gone away. Temperature hovering around 50 degrees, and the wind, as we said, 16 miles an hour. Davis has 5, has 9 yards on the play. It'll be 1 short of the first down. And Reese Davis, let's check back in the studio with you.
Ron, there's been some unease around Miami Hurricanes looking for some offense against North Carolina, and offensive coordinator Rich Olson going trickeration. That was Levon Pondra, defensive back in the game on offense, throwing the TD pass to Sam Shields. 7-0 Canes.
Okay, Reese, thanks very much. Well, the Carolina defense has had some problems. That'll be enough for the first down. As they take it off left tackle out to around the 34-yard line. Chip Vaughn comes over to make the tackle for the Demon Deacons. Davis is a workhorse, and you say, hey, the guy's not that big. He's not. But, you know, at 5'11", 205, and he told us he spent time, and he spent, what, part of the time he went to Atlanta and worked out with a personal trainer down there. He wants to carry the ball 30 times a game if he can.
He worked so hard this summer because he had heard so much about sophomore slump, and he's just avoided that completely.
Fumble, Wake has recovered at the 32-yard line.
Well, that was that read zone that we saw Wake Forest run so well earlier where Riley Skinner kept it. This time, Proctor went, I believe, to give it to Davis, and Davis was not ready for the ball. Yeah.
Ron Davis got it. Anthony Davis made the recovery. Take another look at it. Watch Anthony Davis, 93.
James Davis never clamped on it, Ron. The ball was put in his stomach by the quarterback, and Davis never locked his arms around it. I think he was assuming Proctor was going to keep the ball, and you can't assume that on that play. It is an absolute read option where the quarterback can give it to you or take it away.
One turnover per ball club. Kevin Harris in the ball game at tailback gets the pitch, 30-25. He's down close to the 20-yard line. That will be enough for the Wake Forest first down and a gain of 11. And credit Rich Belton, number 35, the fullback, with an outstanding block on the play. Coleman on the stop.
Ever since Vic Koenig, the defensive coordinator, got here last year, they've been amazing at quick turnarounds for Clemson. Whenever there's a turnover, they don't allow their opponent to score. So let's see how they react here. A good opening play for Harris for Wake Forest.
Harris reminds in the ball game at tailback, number 23. Skinner gets him lined up correctly. On the outside, cornerbacks came up tight as the give is to Harris. And he'll have short yardage, maybe a yard and a half, tackled by Antonio Clay, number 43. Clay is a man who got moved from one linebacking spot to the middle, and he has really garnered a lot of attention. The offensive coaches at Wake really think this young man is a great football player.
Yeah, of course, Anthony Waters, preseason All-American, out. Jermaine Billy, preseason All-ACC, out. So Clay moves to the middle and becomes their leading tackler. Now, Ron, I think Wake Forest has got to try to start to throw the ball down the field a little bit.
Well, they spread it out a little bit, but they go with a reverse, and it's going to be a pass. Got a man as he throws back to the quarterback, and it is a touchdown. Riley Skinner. There are some kids playing in the sandlot here in Winston-Salem who drew up the same play this morning, but they didn't run it as well as Wake Forest just did.
Well, Nate Morton could not have thrown that ball any better. A former quarterback at Harlingen High School.
Yeah, Harlingen. Yeah.
Excuse me, Harlingen, but he's a former quarterback. He could not have thrown that any better.
Trying for the extra point attempt. It's up, and it's good. And if you think there are not some surprise people around, 14-3, the Demon Deacons, they have won twice in a row here at Grove Stadium, trying to make it 3 wins in a row over the Clemson Tigers, as a little trickeration works here, and Skinner with the touchdown. Welcome back to Winston-Salem. Skinner, the quarterback, handed the ball off, and his wide receiver, we're going to take another look at it in just a while, Nate Morton, threw an absolutely perfect pass, and as windy as it is, that pass was in the air for almost 50 yards. 3 yards deep in the end zone, will not return it, and will hold it right here as the Clemson will take it over at the 20-yard line. Here's another look at the touchdown.
Unbelievable what happens on this play. Dwayne Coleman is in position. He sees what happens and starts running with the quarterback. He's in position, Ron, but you can't throw the ball any better. He doesn't quite see the ball. I mean, he spins back around. But Morton, the former high school quarterback, cannot throw a better ball. And my question is, who's the quarterback and who's the receiver? Because Skinner makes a great play on the ball as well. You just don't expect quarterbacks to make that good of a catch in the corner of the end zone.
C.J. Spiller in the ball game at tailback. He'll fake it to him. Nice fake. Everybody went that direction, and the tight end, Akeem Robinson, can't get up high enough. Reese Davis, let's go back to you. Understand the Auburn Tigers in a surprise right now.
They are, Ron, against Arkansas. Hogs already up 3-0, and on a third down play, Mitch Mustang beats the blitz, and Marcus Monk probably got away with offensive interference there. The big receiver takes it in, and the Right Reverend's team up 10-0 on the road.
Wow. Well, Reese, we've got a doozy in the making here in Arkansas and Auburn. Is this going to be one of those kind of Saturdays? Quick screen into the middle. Got it complete, and that's Jacoby Ford. We talked about being a sprint champion. They want to get this guy the ball wherever they can because in space, he's difficult.
Well, and as Dr. Punch told us earlier, Chancey Stuckey out. He says at least until the Virginia Tech game. And Jacoby Ford, with all that speed, he's still figuring out receiver. So that's what they're going to try to do, is do little screens like that, because they need somebody to step up with their leader, Stuckey, out.
Well, plus the fact he is the guy who gives them a vertical game, because without Stuckey, they don't have as much of one. 1 of 4 on third down conversions. Clemson. Proctor sets in the pocket, got his pass complete. That's going to be short of the first down. In fact, I am surprised that the receiver sat down where he did, and that's the expression used when on the curl, because he was 3 yards short.
Well, they had a double layer over there, and they had Kelly set outside the sticks, and Kelly with a size advantage. That's exactly what they're telling Proctor. You have to look through the running back who's inside the sticks and go over the top, because you've got a 6'5" receiver. Even with a cornerback on him, throw it high and let him go make a play.
Jason comes on to punt. His first kick, 42 yards. And the fact that last one very high, a good coverage kick. See if he can duplicate that. This time he's kicking into a little bit of a crosswind. This one off the side of his foot. And then now it takes a Wake Forest bounce. Now a little bit of a Clemson bounce, but that's not going to be real good according to his standards anyway. Only 27 yards in the kick. We'll go away for a moment. Wake Forest in a surpriser, 14-3.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Cadillac and Nivea for Men replenishing aftershave balm for a shady world gone mad.
Well, the Dixie Fair just across the road from the stadium here in Winston-Salem. And I'll tell you what, just like the olden days, $20 for 20 tickets to get in. As you look at Stuckey at the far sideline, the leading receiver for this Clemson team, had foot surgery on Wednesday. That pass complete at the 35, inside the 25 and down to the 24 is Willie Idolette, who already has a touchdown pass in this ball game. It's good for 29 yards. And Ed, right now, Clemson defensively, their heads are spinning. Wake Forest is right back at the line of scrimmage,
and they won't let him go until they set the chains. But I like this hurry up right now.
Play action. They throw it in the flat. He just threw that one away. Good coverage in the flat on the fullback, Rich Belton.
And another wrinkle being shown here by Wake Forest offensively. Steve Labotsky, when we met with him yesterday, the offensive coordinator, told us they were going to run that 2 fullback set, which we saw down on the goal line. But now he's put another wrinkle in, which is the shotgun option pass. As Skinner gets the ball, fakes the option to one side, backs up. I think Clemson is completely on their heels.
That's the first miss by Skinner for the afternoon. And we're at 10:27 of the second quarter. D'Angelo Bryant back in the ball game. First time that he's carried since the fumble. Goes to the left side, and the big fella who weighs 245 pounds is going to have a gain of about 3. Reese Davis, what do you got for us this time?
Ron, Auburn has answered Arkansas's quick start with a 10-play, 90-yard drive, and on 3rd and 13, Brandon Cox stands in and delivers the ball nicely to Rodriguez Smith. 10-7 now in Jordan-Hare Stadium early in the second.
That's going to be a wild one. Already is, huh? Well, you see everybody from Wake. They weren't calling a timeout. They were looking over toward the bench to get the offensive signals. Now they get set. Wake Forest 14, Clemson 3. First quarter, they pass thrown out in the flat, flags down all over the place, and D'Angelo Bryant's going to be knocked down for a 3-yard loss. One of those flags came from the umpire. That's going to be holding as usual. And also it came from the referee.
And if I'm Tommy Bowden, I'd decline this. You're going to have 4th down.
Jim Grove looking on, disappointed that they've got this opportunity. And they normally don't beat themselves. They're a well-coached team.
74 offense. 10 yards from previous spot. Repeat 3rd down.
Check that. The reason you accept that is because of the field goal kicking. Swank, the kicker for Wake Forest, kicked a 52-yarder last week that could have been good from about 65. So film study told Coach Bowden, let's back him up and see if we can't keep him out of field goal.
Steve Justice, the center, is the man that just was called for the foul. They may be the only team in the country. Once the quarterback gets him set, Steve Justice actually calls the cadence. And when they get close enough, we could get a parabola microphone on him. We'll let you listen into it. Skinner, ball knocked down. Gaines Adams, the highly touted defensive end, knocked the ball down, a scramble for it, but that's just an incomplete pass. Jeff Griffin is the man who wanted to make sure that his team held on to the football.
It looks like they've given this ball, Ron, they have given this ball to Clemson. We got to see that again. This play has to be reviewed. It sure looked to me like Skinner's arm was in motion. Let's take a look.
Plus that Griffin made the recovery. But they certainly had. No, that's the punting unit. That was not the offense who was coming on the field. They started to say the officials were right there.
Well, but now they have to review the spot, though, Ron. They're spotting the ball where it was recovered. It's an incomplete pass. You've got to come back to the line of scrimmage. That was the only reason I could think that they would spot the ball there as a turnover. If it's an incomplete pass, it's got to go back to the previous line of scrimmage. Not that it's, for Wake Forest, you're punting regardless, so backing up another 8 or 10 is not the worst thing that can happen, but you'd still like to get the spot correct.
You see, the line of scrimmage was around the 35-yard line. Now, there's a little bit of a follow-in. Would Jim Grove go for a 55-yard field goal? Actually, wouldn't be quite that far. It'd be about a 52 or 53.
Well, we talked to him yesterday about Swank, and he thinks he can kick a 60-65 yarder, and it does feel like if the wind is going in any direction to be behind him, I think he may. So this would be a big deal.
Yeah, it would appear that the ball is going forward. Great hustle play by Gaines Adams, but also a great hustle play by Jeff Griffin, who didn't know if that ball was alive or not, to get back and make the recovery.
And awfully close, Ron. Adams was awfully close from taking that ball out of Skinner's hand before it started its forward motion. I think it did. I'll be shocked if they overturn this and say, in fact, it was a turnover.
Well, I have a feeling that that man right there is not going to be real happy if the ball is respotted at the 35-yard line.
The play stands is ruled on the field. 4th down.
If it's an incomplete pass run, I still can't figure out why they've spotted the ball when they were on the 32.5, 33-yard line, why they've spotted it back at the 48. If the rule stands, then the spot of the ball goes back to the line of scrimmage. It's confusing.
Well, obviously, they're calling it a fumble. It was recovered by Griffin, so that's the reason the line of scrimmage is where it is. They will punt from the Clemson 48-yard line as far as the line of scrimmage. Second time that the Demon Deacons have punted in this ball game. And here's the kick. And this is a good pooch kick. Going to bound and go not out of bounds. They're going to touch it dead. If you look at this, at the 2-yard line. That is 46 yards in the kick, but the damage that they really did, again, second time in the game, Clemson will scrimmage with their backs in their own end zone. So we are back 14-3, Wake Forest on top as we have 8:11 left to play until halftime. And for the second time in the ball game, Clemson has poor field position, this time at the 2, where they have to line up with their offensive backs in their own end zone. Never a good situation because of ball handling. We've had rain. We've got a heavier wind coming in on us right now. But they're going to throw from the end zone. Swings it out to C.J. Spiller, and he'll have it complete in a gain of about 8. Reese Davis, let's check with you again.
Ron, Iowa and Purdue. Hawkeyes trying to bounce back from that loss to Ohio State last week. Drew Tate looking for his big fullback, old Tom Bush, in traffic, making the grab. 17-0. Hawkeyes are rolling it home.
Okay, Reese, thanks. Our situation, they gave him a gain. Actually, they said he stepped out of bounds. It is second down at about 10 yards. Short drop this time. Quick pass in the flat. He gambled on the defensive play. It was caught by Kelly. It was a good gamble because that ball was almost intercepted.
Riley Swanson got a good jump on it. And he's very lucky that he made enough body contact with Kelly. Excellent presence of mind by Kelly to stick that ball out and pick up the first down. But you can't blame Swanson. I agree with you, Ron. You get that jump, you might as well try to make the play.
C.J. Spiller, the lone setback. Passing Proctor 7 of 10 for 92 yards. Here comes Spiller. cuts it back, tries to get into the open field. Not a real big fellow at 190 pounds, and he got shoved back hard by Patrick G. And Dr. Punch, what do you have for us?
Well, Ron, over the last few years, Clemson has had some huge conference wins, but they've also had some unexplainable losses. 2 years ago, they beat Miami in Miami. Then the next week lost at Duke by 3 points. Last year, they beat Florida State by 3 touchdowns, and then came here and lost to Wake Forest. It has been sort of the enigma for Tommy Bowden. We win the big ones, and then we lose some of the ones we should win, he said.
Well, he said that's one of the things he has to rectify as Davis comes in the ball game along with Spiller. And they swing it out here on the near side to Davis. 20, 25, and slung down to around the 27. That's enough for the Clemson first down. And what they're doing, they have so much talent in the backfield, plus wide receivers. Those are nothing but running plays, those short passes like that.
Absolutely. And Wake Forest is going to play off because of the speed of some of these young guys going to play off. So this is exactly what Proctor sees. The cornerbacks are off. Davis almost didn't catch that ball, but they have to play off to respect the speed, so take that all day long.
Aaron Kelly to the bottom of your screen. He's a lean one, but he's a big target at 6'5", 180. They throw it the other way to the open side of the field, and that is LaDontae Harris. And Harris will be tackled on a nice open field stop after a gain of only about 3 on the play. Tackle was made by Riley Swanson. Also, Patrick G was out there helping.
Go back to what Doc was just talking about, Clemson bouncing back. They all admitted that sometimes the seniors said that we just weren't focused in some weeks after big games. And Will Proctor and all the seniors got together on the flight home from Florida State, said that's over. We've got to lead this team and be more focused in practice.
Proctor, 6 completions in a row. As you see Taylor go in motion out to the right, and that's the man they throw to. Gets by a tackler. He's going to have another Clemson first down. So the Tigers very patiently just picking away at this Wake Forest defense, taking what they are being given. Tackle made by Aaron Curry, but they're not getting panicky by any means. 5:54 left until halftime.
In this offense, this Rob Spence offense, Will Proctor really likes it. Not a whole lot of throws down the field, controlled passing attack that Spence brought with him from Toledo last year.
Well, as you said, you know, this offense is not dependent upon the quarterback Proctor to win it for them. They throw the middle screen. That's Rendrick Taylor, and he will have 3, maybe 3.5.
It was funny when we were talking to Rob Spence about his time at Toledo. He spoke so glowingly of Tom Anstutz, the head coach. He said it was a laboratory for us. Tom would come in and say, guys, invent ways to make us better. Invent ways for us as a MAC team to compete against Big Ten squads. And he said, I learned so much about offense just by experimentation.
Yeah, he's got a great deal of admiration for the guy they call Toledo Tom. We had Toledo in the bowl game last year, and boy, they're a well-coached football team. Over the middle, got it complete on an absolutely perfect throw. That's going to be enough for the first down, just short of the 45-yard line. Ford on the receiving end. And here was a look at game track. The fumble at the 1-yard line, or actually the 2 by Bryant. This was after an opening kickoff return of 93 yards.
And then a great job by Riley Skinner staying alive on Idolette. And then Steve Labotsky calls the throwback to the quarterback, and a great catch by Riley Skinner, and a better throw by Morton.
Running play, big opening. C.J. Spiller, well, he almost found a lot of daylight, and a flag has come down away from the play. And I'm not so sure that Alfonso Smith for Wake Forest might not have gotten in a post-play infraction here. Personal foul.
Exactly what it was, yeah.
Boy, and I'll tell you, Jim Grove doesn't stand for stuff like that now. You got a team driving that needs no help.
No. Clemson is #1 in total offense and total defense in the ACC. They don't need the help.
Personal foul, number 2, the defense. Players ejected, 15 yards from the succeeding spot.
Well, not only do you get the 15 yards, but now you're 1 down at the cornerback position. They do have some depth at cornerback, going one-on-one with Kelly, who does a very clean block in the punch. Absolutely out of the game. And Ron, be surprised if he doesn't get suspended for the first half of the next game.
He will.
You cannot take a punch at a player. That was not a dirty play by Kelly.
He's trying to say that it was the elbow, but in a replay, it certainly looked like the fist. So he has been given the gate so to speak. And Alphonso Smith is gone for the afternoon, plus the fact that 15-yard penalty. So from the 24, reverse out on the pass. Nobody stayed at home. Now delivers it complete. 15 out of bounds at around the 12-yard line. Tyler Gresham.
Flag down right in the middle of the line of scrimmage.
I apologize.
Ineligible. Number 63 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Nathan Bennett is the man who was illegally downfield. I lost sight of it. We've had so much rain and everything. One of the tarps blew up and I didn't see the flag go down. Alphonso Smith ejected from the ball game for throwing a fist, and that's not the worst of it. As Ed said, I think probably by rule he will not be allowed to play in the first half of next week's ball game as well. C.J. Spiller, the lone tailback for the Tigers. They trailed at 14-3, but driving at the 4:19 mark. Big opening, and Spiller almost broke out of that tackle, and finally is going to be stopped by 43 Stanley Arnew, a redshirt sophomore out of Sunrise, Florida.
That was a big penalty for Clemson. Nathan Bennett gets caught downfield. It was a play action. I'm sure Bennett was just blocking his man and maybe slipped off. But now you're behind the sticks. I would think with Kelly, his height out here all by himself to the right. Take a look at him.
11th play of the drive. Clemson has really dominated on offense this afternoon as far as length of drive. Tight end open, and boy is he whacked down hard just as the ball got there. Thomas Hunter on the receiving end of quite a blow. Aaron Kelly actually is the man who took the blow. Was Thomas Hunter. I thought he was throwing the ball to, and all of a sudden Kelly comes out of nowhere.
Well, Kelly's right up top, and he's going to come across the middle, and right now the quarterback's got to find him. He's open, and because the quarterback Proctor throws it late, it allows the linebacker who is drifting back to hit him. If the quarterback sees him earlier, that's a walk-in touchdown.
Actually, both guys were open early. So it's third down. The line to make is the 14. They're 1 of 5 on third down conversions. Lobs this one. Intercepted at the 10-yard line and pushed out of bounds. Number 10, Kevin Patterson. The quarterback who plays in front of Alphonso Smith. And not only does he come up with a big play, he better go get some rest. He's going to play the rest of the afternoon because of the ejection.
Well, that's 2 bad throws in a row by Will Proctor. That one was a lazy one. He came back to something he thought he had and didn't see that there was double coverage back there. And the throw before was late to Kelly, which should have been an easy touchdown. And Proctor, a 5th-year senior, you just don't expect this type of mistake. He played so well on the road at Boston College and so well on the road at Florida State, now struggling against Wake Forest on the road.
Here comes that stack eye formation again. 2 fullbacks and a tailback. And they give it to the first guy through, and that's Damon McWhite, a redshirt senior out of Woodbury, New Jersey.
Patterson, who had a concussion against Liberty last week. The coaches weren't sure he was able to play. Luckily, with Alphonso Smith now ejected, he is able to play.
Second down and long. And they give it off to Kevin Harris. And Kevin Harris, big opening, dragging the tackler with him. The ball came loose, but the official says no, the play was dead back here at the 42-yard line. And that's going to be a very big first down. 2:31 showing on the clock. And what do we have as far as timeouts left? The Demon Deacons have all 3 left. And they possess quite a weapon in Sam Swank, who last week with a 52-yard field goal, and the head coach Jim Grobe said the ball would have been good from probably 60 or a little bit more. So keep him in mind as this drive goes on and the clock runs down. Ticking again at 2 minutes and 15 seconds until halftime. Pass to the near sideline. Got that one complete, but knocked out of bounds immediately is Nate Morton. Reese Davis, let's check back with you, my friend. What do you got?
Ron, Wisconsin's John Stocco has been razor sharp last couple of weeks against Northwestern in a 10-9 game. It's on ESPN 360, by the way. Luke Swan, graceful, no ugly duckling touchdown there. Wisconsin up 17-9.
Okay, Reese, our situation 14-9, big opening, has 5, has 10. That's going to be another first down for Wake Forest.
And the key, those 3 timeouts. You cannot run that play, Ron, if you don't have all 3 timeouts. Steve Labotsky, knowing that they're always in a no-huddle type of offense at Wake Forest. They can go a couple of different speeds, but right now with timeouts, they don't have to be, you want to be in a hurry, but you don't want to get ahead of yourself.
That's Chris Clemons, number 22, the starting free safety. Very solid player. He had to go out, and he is favoring his shoulder. We'll get a report. First down from the 42-yard line. Play action, looking, got a man over the middle, and it is almost intercepted. And Rich Belton, the fullback, had to come over and play defensive back on that one. Really?
Yeah, on an old running back, Dwayne Coleman. Yeah, that ball hung on Skinner. He was trying to put that outside to his fullback, and that ball hung. Got to be very careful. And now Wake Forest, this is typical for them because they don't really huddle. They do kind of a soft huddle, so they don't need to be in a hurry up, of course, with the incomplete pass.
3 wide receivers, the set, 1:35 left until halftime, and all 3 timeouts for the Demon Deacons.
Well, they backed out because Riley Swanson didn't like what he saw. Excuse me, Riley Skinner didn't like what he saw and looked to the sideline. They didn't have a play ready.
One of his wide receivers couldn't make up his mind which side he was going to. So rather than a mistake, a timeout.
Start
your engine.
Clemson University's International Center
for Automotive Research brings industry,
education, and research
to the intersection of science and the imagination.
This new research center in Greenville, South Carolina
connects industry professionals
with top automotive engineers
and the brightest young minds
to define the automotive industry of the future.
Performance. Fuel efficiency.
Safety.
CUI car. Driving the future today.
Clemson. Wake Forest University. Small in size. Big in resources. Tall among national universities. Wake Forest University.
This game is being broadcast on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Plasma Displays.
We practicing every day. It don't matter what that scoreboard says. We all believe in the end we're going to win. Don't listen to that scoreboard. Don't get too high. Don't get too low. Let's keep fighting.
Well, it's John Abadi, the middle linebacker, and we said he's kind of a throwback, and you can hear the message right there. Forget what's up there. A lot of football left to play. Swing the pass out and got it complete. That's Harris. And Harris is not going to have much at all. Well defended by the Clemson Tigers. You can see Gaddis, number 12. Gaddis has had some really big defensive stops in this half.
Well, that time Skinner came off of his downfield routes too soon. He's got to know you're second and long. You've got to look down the field. He had a post. He had a curl underneath. Just didn't look at it. Came down, I think, to his running back too soon.
First time since 1944. That's what they're looking for, a 6-0 start. But as John Abadi said just a moment ago, they got a lot of football left to play. Third down. Handed off on the reverse. That's Marion. And that'll be tackled in the open field. Good job right there by Nick Watkins, one of the linebackers.
Well, and their young quarterback didn't manage this drive as well as he should. There at the end, the clock started getting away from him, and I think he got a little anxious, Ron, on that second down and didn't look downfield long enough. And now what looked like a very promising drive is going to end in a punt.
You know, I wouldn't be surprised if they run this thing all the way down and even get the penalty, because there's no reason to kick it to a dangerous return man. That time it's on the clock is yours. Don't give it away.
No, and kick it into the end zone, too. Don't worry about field position right now.
Here's the pooch kick. Going to hit it to 10. And is going to be touched dead at the 2-yard line as time runs out, and we are at halftime as Chip Vaughn is down there to touch it dead. So a flag has been thrown at the 11-yard line. Both teams have been held up before they head to the locker room. And let's wait and see what this call is. We opened the ball game this afternoon with a return by Kevin Marion, the young man who just ran that reverse of 93 yards.
After the play, personal foul, number 93 of the receiving team. The penalty be administered in the second half.
So there you get a great explanation, and we are at halftime. Anyway, Wake has had a lot of great opportunities. They fumbled 3 plays later, did not get points. But look at the scoreboard at halftime as they head to the locker room. A standing ovation from the partisans here at Grove Stadium in Winston-Salem, because they are shocking a heavily favored Clemson team 14-3. Jerry Punch, let's go down to the field with you.
Thanks, Ron. Well, Coach, high-scoring offense held with 3 points in the first half. What are your concerns?
Yeah, we're just having trouble executing right now, both sides of the ball. But we've got to somehow make a play. They're challenging us to throw it downfield. We're going to have a back break a long one, or a receiver make a big play for us.
Defensively, how do you slow them down a little bit more in the second half?
Well, we've got to. We've been in position to make some plays, just hadn't made it. We've done a poor job of executing, just from a skill perspective.
Hey, thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
Ron?
Thanks, Doc. So at halftime, 14 for Wake Forest and 3 for Clemson. So we'll take a break. Let's head back to the studio and Reese Davis.
Ron, glad to have you along on the Pontiac Performance Halftime Report. Could this be upset Saturday? Wake Forest up 14-3. Demon Deacons have had the Tigers' number over the last few years, and they've got an 11-point lead at the brink.
On what's becoming a very cold and blustery. And I would doubt that they would be. If they were, it would be punishment. Our score, 14-3 at halftime. At halftime, because they have been beaten in virtually every phase of the ball game.
Well, they stayed in there. They stayed in there a long time at halftime. A lot of yelling going on. But they had 2 long drives, over 70 and over 90 yards, and they came away with 3 points. It's turnovers. There was a fumble on the handoff. They just need to settle in. This has been a very difficult place for Tommy Bowden. They've lost the last 2 times they've come here, but they're just making silly mistakes. If they can just hang on to the ball, they have the athletes. And on the flip side, Ron, for Wake Forest, they could not have played better in that first half. Couple of miscues. For Clemson got something going. I think same for Wake Forest, especially on offense.
Yeah, Jim Grobe would say, obviously when you get points on the board, as you take a look at the numbers in the first half, Clemson with 176 total, that's not surprising. There's 2 gigantically long drives. They don't have a lot to show for it.
Because of the penalty at the end of the half, Wake Forest kicks off at the 50-yard line.
I know he's got a great leg, but you think maybe the wind helped a little bit?
Yeah, maybe.
That almost went out of the stadium. I'll understand that we're having some audio problems. We apologize to our viewers, and we hope to have that straightened out just momentarily. As you take a look at the offense led by Will Proctor. Young fellas wanting to play with the football. They said you can't do it out there on this big green thing.
You got to go out in the parking lot afterwards and have some fun.
So let's see what
have some fun.
So the second half, James Davis is at tailback. He
gets the ball, and it's going to go. Wow, he took quite a hit. Gained him about 3 yards. And Dr. Punch, what do you have for us on the situation with Clemson at halftime?
Well, Ron, at halftime, very emotional. Tommy Bowden talking about poise and composure. We got to have both in the second half. He said, you know, he walked around and talked to his players, said, guys, in a tight game, someone steps up and makes a play. Who's it going to be? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be you? He said, we got to believe we can win this game, and someone has got to step up and make a play in the second half.
Well, not surprisingly, I mean, you challenge them, but then that's exactly what has to happen.
And here comes the reverse, and this is Ford, 30 to the 35, and is shoved out of bounds at the 36-yard line.
Well, Clemson is starting to make a lot of inroads in the state of Florida. Jacoby Ford was the 2,500 and 200-meter champion in the state, and then they went and got C.J. Spiller, who was a 2,600-meter champion in the state of Florida. And when you're getting speed like that, you have to design plays like reverses and screens to get that speed into the game.
That was the longest rush of the afternoon by Clemson to 13. And here's a big opening, and Davis is going to take this thing out to the 46-yard line. That's going to be a gain of 10. Dr. Punch, back to you.
And Ron, the Demon Deacon locker room at halftime, Jim Grove was talking about not what they did, but what they didn't do. The missed opportunities for the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, including that opening drive where they did not punch it in after that great kickoff return, and the missed opportunity on the final offensive possession of the half. He said, we're up, yeah, but how about if we're playing better? We're not playing our best football when we're ahead. Think about what happened if we'd have scored on those other opportunities.
Yeah, he's exactly right. And the time management on that last series, I doubt he was happy with that. I'll tell you, Davis again, this is going to be a gain of 8 yards. So they have had their longest gain of the afternoon, 13, then 10 in the next play. And now 8 right here. So they're really kind of gashing that defense to open the second half. And the injured player is Giles Tucker, the left defensive end, number 55, senior out of Dover, New Jersey.
Well, and with this offensive line, 4 seniors and a junior, they can do this, Ron. And this is the most experienced offensive line Tommy Bowden has ever had as a head coach. Right now, he's leaning on this veteran group to get them back in the game.
Davis, 58 yards on 15 attempts. And they want to throw it. Near sideline, got it complete. And that's the lanky one, Aaron Kelly, 6'5", 180. It's a long drink of water, but he is a great target to throw to.
This is one of the most experienced offensive lines in the entire country. And the youngster out there is Barry Richardson. He's a junior. All of the rest of them are fifth-year seniors, and not just guys that have been around the program, but guys who've been starting for years on top of years.
Davis takes it to the left side. Nice open field tackle, Stanley Arnoux. And Dr. Punch, let's go back to you.
Speaking of the Tigers O-line, how about last week, fifth-year senior center Dustin Fry voted Atlantic Coast Conference Offensive Lineman of the Week. He graded out at 93%, played almost every snap, guys. And one of the big reasons that Clemson rushed for 393 yards, the 5th highest team total in NCAA football this year. What a force.
I'll tell you, with that offensive line, Doc, they really, these long drives that they've had, it's no mystery as to why or how. And here comes the screen. Ball is hit. That ball is loose. And the official right there says no. Rendrick Taylor made the catch. And as soon as he made the catch, then boy, he was unloaded on.
Zach Stoops did an excellent job coming from inside out. And now behind the sticks, we have not seen Dean Hood, the defensive coordinator, bring a lot of blitzes. And I think it's because he hasn't had to. Now he's in a position where he can play coverage. And I think that Will Proctor in this shotgun, he's got tall receivers. All the short guys are out there right now. I think they're going to look for some kind of slant and run after the catch.
Clemson, here comes a blitz from the corner, top of your screen. Got his pass away, and he couldn't hold on. That's Taylor. Rendrick Taylor was there, and the ball just, well, it was catchable. They're now 1 of 7 on third down conversions. And that goes back to what Coach Bowden was saying to his team at halftime. Somebody's got to step up, and who's it going to be? A catch like that, yeah, that's the kind of play that gets you going.
And Rendrick Taylor, a young man with good size for a wide receiver at 6'2", nearly 230 pounds. has had trouble earlier in his career hanging on. Here, it's physical contact to push away from the corner. Excuse me, that's the safety G, and he can't get his hands around, but he needs to make that play run. That's exactly what Tommy Bowden's looking for.
They had blitzed the corner, and that's the reason he had the coverage there. And we're going to hold it right here as they continue to take a look at Rendrick Taylor. He's out of Clio, South Carolina, a sophomore, and is said to have only 5% body fat, but he's built more like a running back, maybe even a fullback, because at 6'2", 230 pounds, young man is very, very muscular, but he's a wide receiver and is strong and is tough for a small corner to cover.
And that was a really nice call. You mentioned that the corner came. First time today that I've seen the corner blitz called by Dean Hood. Let's see if he lands funny on that shoulder. Looks like he jammed his left elbow into the turf as he landed. But that was what the offensive staff of Clemson was very concerned about. Rob Spence talked a lot about the corner blitzes that Wake Forest likes to run, and that was a timely call by Coach Hood.
Stuckey on the sideline, and if you missed it, he had to have foot surgery on Wednesday on a foot that he broke it in practice, but it was a non-contact situation. Made a cut. The leading receiver for this football team, and also a leader. Tim Beret, the sports information director, was telling us prior to the ball game that he interned in the sports information department this past summer. And he said, what a delight. He said, the young man is just absolutely wonderful. They're going to try a distance field goal of 53 yards. Now, this is what I was talking about for Wake, who had the same situation just before halftime. They've got a pretty good follow wind behind them.
See how quick he gets it off. They've had trouble with that.
He's got plenty of distance. If he's got the accuracy, and he missed it. Wide left and no good, but boy, he had plenty of foot. But Dean off the mark to the left. Let's take a timeout. The Demon Deacons 14 and the Clemson Tigers 3. So we are back in Winston-Salem. The Demon Deacons 14 and the Clemson Tigers 3. Holding on to that elbow. That seems to be the injury that he has. So we'll get a report from Doc Punch, find out what's going on with him as the Deeks come sprinting out on the field. They have the ball with the missed field goal. They have the ball with the missed field goal in good field position. We've got a man wide open. Throws to his fullback, Belton, and Belton belts his way out to will come over to make the tackle.
Take a look at the pass chart for Riley Skinner. They haven't asked him to go down the field very much, but when he has, he's been very effective. And again, we see another pass out into the flat to the fullback, and that's what Riley Skinner has done. He's managed. Ben Mock went out with that shoulder and arm injury. He just managed the game and done exactly what the game plan asked for.
On first down, it's going to be D'Angelo Bryant, and he will be hit for a yard loss. It's going to be a second down at 11. C.J. Gaddis, who has had a very good ball game, was there to make the tackle.
And Riley Skinner with a wonderful ball fake that brought Idolette back across the middle, and then the great throw for Morton, and a really nice catch. You just don't expect your quarterback to make that kind of catch in the end zone. Of course, they're going to be over there celebrating, but it was a great throw and catch and a nice call by Steve Labatsky.
Here's that I stack again that they're using, two fullbacks and a tailback, and it garnered only 1 yard. And so now it's going to be a third down and 10. Antonio Clay, that middle linebacking position, comes over to make the tackle. Rich Belton caught that ball just a moment ago, the fullback, number 35. He was a high school tailback. He catches the ball well, and the offensive coaches say, let's be very honest, he doesn't block. He's not a great blocker, but he does catch the football well. They moved him to linebacker and then put him back at running back, and you see why. They're going to call a timeout. They look back over to the sideline. I don't know if the personnel grouping was wrong or what, but Lobo, the offensive coordinator, coming out on the field to talk with his offensive unit.
It looked like Riley Skinner went with a hard snap count, a fake hard snap count, trying to get 5 yards to make it a more palatable third down. And when they didn't jump, he didn't know what to do. He looked over the sideline and the play was not ready.
In the last meeting between these two teams, Wake took the lead with this impressive catch. Watch it. Got it for the touchdown. Clemson's last drive failed on the 3-yard line, and Wake won it by a final score of 31-27. And here comes the defense, and they stop them short of the end zone line. And Jim Grobe's ball club has won 2 in a row over the Clemson Tigers.
Well, and it's starting to feel like Halloween, and this is Grove Stadium is a haunted house for Clemson. And Wake Forest, the only undefeated, not ranked, but they've got enough votes that if they are able to pull off this upset, they will definitely get into the top 25 next week.
You know, let's see if we can do this. I mentioned back in the first half, Steve Justice, the center. I don't know of another team in America who does it. The center, after the quarterback calls them set, he will deliver the cadence, not the quarterback. There's a lot of noise in the stadium, but let's see if we can pick it up. Steve Justice, the center. D'Angelo Bryant takes it inside the 50 and is going to be about 3 yards short of the first down. So it's going to be a 4th down situation. Sorry you couldn't hear that. Maybe with the shotgun formation, there's not really a hard count the way when a quarterback is under center.
What a nice call by Steve Labotsky to come back. If that ball, if the defensive end hadn't made Skinner put so much air on that, I think Bryant could have picked up the first down. They're using so much misdirection, trying to get the speed of Clemson to hurt them.
So Swank in with the punt. This is the 3rd time that the Deeks have had to punt it away today. It's a good pass. Clemson with a return on. It's just a pooch kick, and with the coverage that they had, they are going to down this thing. Clemson has to run away from it. They down it inside the 1-yard line. Wow. So when we come back, Ed will give us his mid-season picks for best coach, best team, nicest surprise, and also the Heisman Trophy. That's when we come back. Our score, Wake Forest 14 and Clemson 3.
ESPN's College Football, brought to you by Singular, raising the bar, and Advance Auto Parts. Get more for your money with the low price guarantee. We're ready in advance.
Good look at the R.J. Reynolds house. Those roses are sold, by the way, from this beautiful rose garden. Our score 14-3, and look, they are scrimmaging from just inside. Clemson is. 3rd time they've had to take the ball inside their own 2-yard line. Quick pass near sideline and got it complete to Kelly. I'm going to say stepped out of bounds at around the 9-yard line. Kevin Patterson defensively.
And Clemson now taking exactly what Wake Forest is going to give them. They're still in no hurry. It's only 14-3, a little before midway through the 3rd quarter. And Wake Forest is not going to gamble, Ron. There's just no reason for them. Make Clemson earn it, because Clemson has made mistake after mistake in this game when you make them drive the length of the field.
Well, they'll keep it on the ground, and Davis stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Well, they're going to get a good spot here from where the linesman is coming in over there. I was going to say well short of the first down. Thought it was around the 10, but it's going to be about the 10.5. And Doc Punch, I understand you have something on Tucker.
Yeah, Ron Giles Tucker, the senior defensive end for Wake Forest, came off and has a knee sprain, left knee sprain. Dr. David Martin, the orthopedic surgeon, going to put a brace on it, try to get him back out if he can. Right now, he is still struggling to be very mobile with that left knee.
Okay, Jerry, thanks very much. Great hustle. 8:20 left to play, 3rd quarter. 3rd down and inches for Clemson. And with the running play, Davis will pick up the first down out to around the 14-yard line. Aaron Curry came over to make the tackle on him.
Wake Forest has a lot of depth on their defensive line. They've instituted a very strict redshirting program here. Jim Grobe just will not play a bunch of young guys. He wants to start building 4th and 5th year players. But they're already without Matt Robinson, who broke his kneecap last year and was their best pass rusher. So Dean Hood, the defensive coordinator, all that depth starting to slip away. Difficult against a veteran offensive line like Clemson.
So it's first down after they move the sticks. They scrimmage from their own 14-yard line. Looked once, puts it up, got a man wide open, and the ball is stolen. It is intercepted by Patrick G at the 20, inside the 15, and he's down to the 13-yard line. Third turnover of the afternoon by the Clemson Tigers.
Well, when you're going against Wake Forest, which is known for its academics more than its athletics, you can fool them once, Ron. Remember earlier, the fake block and then the run. This is exactly what happens, and G, the safety, reads it perfectly. Remember, they ran the exact same play to James Davis on that first drive. This time the ball hangs a little bit, but G, the safety, read it the entire way.
You remember we said during the timeout after that play back in the first half that the safety was asleep on the play, didn't get over there. Well, this time, you're exactly right.
A cup of coffee at halftime.
Yeah, they didn't fool him. Kevin Harris into the ball game at tailback as they scrimmage from the Clemson 12-yard line. And he'll take it right up the middle in the vicinity of the 10-yard line. So Wake Forest with an opportunity right here. Now remember this, if you joined us late, they had a 93-yard kickoff return to start the ball game, and they fumbled at the 2, came away with no points. But right here with this turnover, boy, a touchdown to make it 21-3, even though that offense of Clemson is so potent, would be gigantic.
And Clemson continually in games against Wake Forest makes big mistakes, a lot of turnovers. They had 3 last year, 3 already this year, and Wake Forest is good enough to hang in there and beat them.
Running play. Harris is going to take this one again for very short yardage. And number 23, Wake Forest being very conservative. I just wanting to be careful, not make a mistake. Lewis Frazier, 78, checks back into the ball game and the offensive line.
And now you've got to look at some type of misdirection. Steve Labotsky loves those motions. Fake a handoff one way. Riley Skinner has run the option pass. That would be a great call here. Have him fake the option, back up. You've got Morton down at the bottom.
Here comes that stacked situation. 2 fullbacks in front of the tailback. Holds on to it. Got a man open in the flat. Complete. Not enough for the first down. They're going to spot him down at the 4 1/2 yard line. Renfret into the ball game. We were told late in the meeting yesterday that we might see this young man at fullback.
Good play action. The stack eye. Renfret was one of the fullbacks lined up in the stack. Comes the other way. Clemson did a nice job. Morton was running on the back of the end zone. They covered him, and now the Clemson comes out with Swank to try to go up by 2 scores.
22.5 yards is the distance on this field goal attempt. Almost on the left hash mark. And chip shot for him, and he knocks it home. 22 yards, they will say officially. In our new scores, we take a timeout, is the Deacons 17 and the Clemson Tigers 3. We'll be right back. So Wake Forest 17-3 with the field goal of 22 yards. And here are the turnovers by the Clemson Tigers today. 3 of them.
Well, just a bad handoff exchange on the read zone. Will Proctor got a little lazy with that ball and then hung one up on a fake screen where Spiller was running down the sideline. Patrick G, who'd been beaten earlier in the game by Kelly down the middle, recovers nicely on that play. 10 points for turnovers is the difference so far.
Well, here comes the kick as Ford and Spiller, the 2 deep men for the Clemson Tigers, both capable of taking it the distance. But this kickoff, wow, that's 8 yards deep in the end zone. Reese Davis, let's check back at the studio with you. What do you got for us, young man?
Ron, anytime you pass Jerry Rice in the record book, it is noteworthy. New Hampshire and Richmond, and David Ball of New Hampshire. That touchdown catch, the 51st of his career. That's a new 188 record, and it passes the great Jerry Rice of Mississippi Valley State.
Wow, 51. So our situation, we only have 5:06 left to play in the 3rd quarter. And Clemson now for sure, they got to get some points on this drive or something coming soon. They got to have some 3rd quarter points. This quarter's got to be done before they know it. Davis bangs his way hard at left guard. Aaron Curry is the first man to come up and make contact with him. Then John Abudi. And Gianabati told us yesterday that his favorite saying by his head coach was, play like your hair's on fire.
And he's got plenty of hair, so if he lit it on fire.
And he plays that way. That he is a throwback.
Changed his jersey to number 5 to honor his late brother Luke. Passed away in a car accident back in February. And right at the start of the fourth quarter, he'll look up, find his folks, and hold up the number 5. Instead of fourth quarter, hold up 5 for his lost brother.
Second down and long for Clemson. They look for the far sideline. Pass is thrown complete. Missed tackle and enough of one that the first down is picked up by Jacoby Ford. As Ed said back in the first half, Jacoby is a sprinter, and he is really just learning how to play receiver. And he's learning under fire, but learning quickly.
Well, and the base of Rob Spence's offense is not downfield throws, Ron, but Tommy Bowden said on the way into Dr. Punch, we need to take a couple of shots. They have not yet, and they have the speed on the outside. The way Wake Forest is playing, they're a little closer to the line of scrimmage now. I think they can start taking some shots.
Tripped over his own man. Offensive lineman trying to block on one of the linebackers in the middle, and Brandon Pilgrim got his feet tangled up with Davis, and he went down for really no gain.
Well, we talked so much about how good Clemson is defensively, but what a gain on defense it has been for Dean Hood's group this season. Last year, of course, they were so good offensively. Chris Barkley graduates. Where they have improved to get to 5-0 is on defense.
Swing pass, got it complete, but boy, quick pursuit on the part of the Demon Deacon defense, and they're out there to make the stop on Swanson is there defensively. Grisham just had no place to go.
Well, one thing that Jim Grobe, who is a former defensive coach himself at Air Force, said we've become more conventional the more athletes we've recruited. They used to run a crazy 3 down front, 3-man stack. Now they're in a 4-man front because they have the talent.
Well, you see the third down conversion situation today, only 2 of 8. Short drop to throw. Ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage and intercepted. The officials say 1st and 10 Wake Forest. He picked it off, and that's Josh Gaddis. Turnover number 4 for the Clemson Tigers after the ball was tipped, intercepted. Jeremy Thompson, I think, is the man who got a hand on it.
And Thompson, who had a knee injury last year, just starting to come into his own. This was a non-rush by the defensive line. And that was exactly what it was, Thompson. If you noticed, right at the start of the play, they didn't rush. They expected a 3-step drop. So instead of pass rushing, they read it, got their hands up. Great call at the line of scrimmage by Dean Hood, the defensive coordinator.
Skinner will go from a shotgun. Harris is his tailback, but he retreats to throw. Good protection, got a man wide open out in the flat. And that is Moore. And Kenneth Moore is going to take it for a gain of about 9.5 yards.
Well, the head coach, Jim Grobe, is constantly in the headset of the offensive coaches, telling them to eat some clock and run the ball. I have a feeling right now he has told his offensive staff, I smell blood, let's go get it. And they're going to let Riley Skinner run this offense right now.
Straight ahead, that's the fullback Belton. And he takes it for the first down. And he'll take it in the vicinity of the 27-yard line. And that clock is just melting away. It seems like only a moment ago we were beginning the third quarter. And now we're about to go under 2 minutes to play in this third stanza.
Josh Gaddis from right down the road in Durham. 20-30 folks come the hour, 15-minute drive every week.
Nine different receivers have been used by Wake Forest in this ball game. Almost a collision in the backfield as the handoff went to McWhite. And let's check down on the sideline with Dr. Punch. Jerry?
Well, Ron, Wake Forest doesn't get a lot of respect by evidence of the fact they're not either poll in their 5-0 to begin the year, but they have had some huge wins over the years. Their last 3 bowl wins have all come over Pac-10 teams, Oregon twice, and Arizona State. They have beaten Purdue, they've beaten Northwestern, they've beaten SEC schools, they've beaten Tennessee, and I think they're going to get some respect if they can hang on and win this one today. They might even get voted in the top 25.
Well, you know, there's a lot of football left to be played, but if they do, I couldn't agree with you more. somebody better start having respect for them, because they're not only good, they're very well coached. They take advantage of virtually every situation that they are given or they make.
You know, Jim Grove made no bones about it. This year before the season, speaking to the media at the ACC media gathering, he said, it's time for us to start showing wins for all of the hard work. They had 2 winning seasons his first 2 years here in 2001, 2002, and have not had a winning season since.
Well, the ranked teams losing to unranked teams. Clemson to BC on the 9th of September. Then on the 16th, Florida State lost to Clemson. Then Boston College lost to NC State in a ball game we did on the 23rd. On the 28th, TCU and BYU.
And I think that Wake Forest, as Doc just alluded to, if they can pull this win off. A lot of people question their early schedule. Syracuse, Connecticut, Liberty, Ole Miss to get to 5-0. But I don't think you could question this type of win. Clemson, a lot of people think the class of the ACC, and now Wake Forest in position to stay on the top of the Atlantic Division.
And let's check in again with Jerry Punch. Doc?
As you watch Jim Grove on the sidelines, give a call to Ron Wellman, who's the AD here at Wake Forest. He signed Grove to a 10-year contract. There are 6 years remaining, because he knows that as much as he has done here, the way he has built this program, and you see the folks in the stands, it's packed. A lot of people are going to be wanting to talk to this man about their future programs, and he's got 6 more years here in Deaconland.
Kevin Harris, a tailback, and they give it to him. Not much up front, but he weaves his way for about 3 yards down to the 24. We now have less than 1 minute to play, third quarter. Gaines Adams, Rashad Jackson combining on the stop. Rashad's an interesting story. He's a good player, number 91, Sabra out of Union, South Carolina. But he told the coaching staff he doesn't like to start. He likes to come off the bench. Again, it goes to Harris. He's not going to have the first down. Good, quick pursuit on the part of Clemson. In fact, he may have lost a half yard. C.J. Gaddis with another big play.
This has as much to do with the confidence that Jim Grove has in his kicker Swank as anything. Don't turn the ball over. You're in a position right now, up 2 touchdowns. You know your kicker's pretty automatic from this distance. Don't do anything dumb and turn the ball over.
No, they're going to let this clock run down and kick it with the wind. Very, very smart. Wake Forest looking up at the clock, down to 5, down to 4. Say, hey, instead of kicking it into the wind, let's kick it with a little breeze behind us here. And we are headed to the 4th and final quarter of this one from Winston-Salem, South Carolina, and the hands go up. 17-3, the Deacs. So we are back 17-3, and Wake trying to extend their lead to a 17-point margin. This is going to be a 42-yard attempt, and career-wise, Swank is 6 of 8 from this distance. Temple, the holder. Got a good pass, and boy, they fumbled the snap. The ball picked up by Adams, and Gaines Adams is going to take it the distance, and what a play. The holder mishandled the snap, and just like that, Clemson gets a free one. Look at this one again.
What a change of momentum. Temple just mishandled it. Swank had to stop. It was a perfect snap. Temple, who's a backup punter, and a lot of times you see those guys as the holders just can't get it down. A little bit of a wobble on the snap. Jarvis, the snapper, did not get a perfect spiral, but that should have been handled.
Gaines Adams hit him, almost making him cough the ball up. He hit him with an upward motion. Very smart on his part. He gets the touchdown, and the extra point attempt is up. Not pretty, but it was good. So Dean knocks it through, and just like that, Wake Forest thinking they're going to go up by 17 points. Their lead is cut to 7. We're going to have a fun fourth quarter, folks. Don't go away. Gaines Adams just took it 66 yards to make it 17-10. And here is one more look at the play. What should have made it a 20-3 ball game on this field goal.
Well, and as Dr. Punch reported, he was in the locker room at halftime. Tommy Bowden said, somebody make a play. Well, that's more than a play. That's an unbelievable job by Gaines Adams to knock it in the air, catch it on the run, and score. A former wide receiver in high school made an excellent play on the ball.
So out to the 35-yard line on the return. And Reese Davis, let's check with you back in the studio.
Ron, it appears that the Hurricanes have finally found some big playmakers. Javaris James, the young running back, bursting through North Carolina's defense, as many running backs are wont to do. Breaking tackles, going 62 yards. Canes are cruising 24-7.
Okay, Reese, thanks for the report. I got news for them, though. This is not to knock North Carolina. I wouldn't hang my hat at just what they're doing offensively today. Carolina's given up a lot of points to everybody they played this year.
Clemson ran for 324 yards against the Tar Heels.
Pressure backside pass is caught at the 49-yard line and then thrown out of bounds on the near sideline. And that's Tarashinsky, the tight end, good for 18 yards. Gaines Adams was in the house again, very close to the quarterback.
Almost got another fumble, Ron, as he came around. Skinner just right at the last second steps into the pocket, and an excellent catch by Tarashinsky. We've seen both Selman and Tarashinsky and the fullback Belton make very good catches. You don't expect big bodies to make those type of athletic catches.
Shotgun formation. They scrimmage from the Clemson 47. And not much there, so the tailback says, instead of going left, I'll go right. And Harris tackled by Dwayne Coleman. And it's a gain of a couple. I think it would be huge as far as them winning this football game if they answer on this drive, even if it's just a field goal.
Riley Skinner has spread the wealth today, and he's had to. They've moved him around the pocket. They use a lot of misdirection. They get a lot of people involved. But you're right, Ron. If they can answer that huge play, because the momentum in this stadium did a 180-degree turn.
10 different receivers they've used. Here comes the blitz. They pick it up. Flag goes down. It was picked up in a hold, and the pass is thrown complete, and you can erase it. The blitz absolutely threw off the line play, and the guy was almost tackled it. So it's going to go back 10 yards and erase a 23-yard play. Morton was the guy who got open.
Holding against the offense. 10 yards to the previous spot. Still second down.
Yeah, there's no question about this. Jim Grobe is not real happy, but I think he's not real happy with his team. Lewis Frazier just, I mean, he's got him in a...
Well, he got beat, and when you get beat, a lot of times you think you're going to get away with it, but when you get beat that fast, Ron, turn and try to push the guy by the quarterback. And that time Frazier, who's battling with a bad knee that he blew out last year, just didn't have the athleticism to move sideways to pick up the linebacker.
Second down, Clemson showing blitz. They come with only one, not two. Pressure, ball is knocked loose. Knocked loose, and Clemson has recovered. Brandon Cannon knocked it loose. And recovering was Donnell Clark, number 44, a senior out of Griffin, Georgia. And I mean, in 3 minutes off the clock, this game, actually 2 minutes off the clock, this game has totally turned around.
And the one thing that when we were talking to Jim Grobe, his biggest concern was they had not seen this much size and speed. And Riley Skinner, he's got to lock that ball away. I know he wants to keep looking down the field, but the pocket had disintegrated, and he's got to know that someone's coming from the backside and put that thing, tuck it under.
This is the best start of the afternoon by Clemson. Davis breaks one tackle, takes it inside the 40, and he's down to the 39. Reese Davis, let's check back with you.
All right, Ron, coming up in just about an hour on ABC, Texas and Oklahoma, and here come the Horns, no longer answering the questions about when are you going to beat OU. Colt McCoy and the Horns in Oklahoma on ABC, 3:30 Eastern.
Okay, Reese, our situation, Clemson with another turnover. They roll the pocket to the right, throws it complete to Davis, and Davis with a second effort will have the first down as he'll take it to the 32.5-yard line, and Abadi is the man who was there to put the stop on him. But incredible. Winston, This Wake Forest Ball Club about to kick a field goal to go in front by 17 points. The snap is fumbled. It is picked off by Gaines, 66 yards for a touchdown. And now here's Clemson driving to tie this ball game.
Well, Wake Forest they made a couple of errors to fumble down on the 2, but nothing that it really cost them. And it was Clemson who was making those errors. Now it's totally switched.
Davis, big hold, has 5, has 10, and counted off a gain of about 13 yards on the play as he takes it all the way to the 20. Aaron Curry saved what could have been a touchdown run.
Give a lot of credit to James Davis because Tommy Bowden continues to recruit and went down at that position, even though Davis was the ACC Rookie of the Year last year on offense. Went down and got C.J. Spiller out of Florida, and he was starting to get into the lineup, and Davis has really taken hold of that position.
And let's go back to the studio and check in with Reese Davis.
Ron, after a horrendous Auburn punt, Arkansas reaches into its bag of tricks. Oh, Gus Malzahn calling a little trick play for Reggie Fish. Fish going to get it deep into Auburn territory, and the Hogs would make it pay off on 3rd and goal. Felix Jones turns the corner, and the biggest upset of the season is brewing. 24-10 Hogs.
Okay, Reese. Clemson trying to get off the deck here and tie this ball game. Got a man open at the 1. Touchdown, Aaron Kelly. And the Tigers all of a sudden are within 1 point of tying this ball game, and they've done it in 4 minutes and 51 seconds.
Aaron Kelly, first on the scene last year with 47 receptions. A big receiver at 6'5", gets to the inside. Nice move to the outside, but Kevin Patterson, the cornerback, loses leverage, Ron. You've got to stay on the inside shoulder of a big receiver.
Dean trying to make it a tie ball game at 17. Gets a good pass. The ball is blocked. Tipped at the line of scrimmage, and it went through. All of a sudden, the demons that Clemson's been talking about worked for them. So we have a tie game at 17 apiece. You know, now wait a minute. They have not put it on the board yet. Are they going to call that no good? We'll tell you when we come back.
ESPN's College Football is presented by Cars.com. Find the right car for you. Cars.com. And in part by Cooper Tires. Don't give up a thing.
So we are back in Winston-Salem, and if you just joined us, Clemson was just kind of staggering along and about to go down 20-3 in the ball game, but they have just tied this thing at 17 apiece. Short kickoff taken at the 25-yard line, and the return goes to the 35, and that was Will Hollis on the return. And let's go to the sideline for an injury report with Dr. Punch. Jerry?
Well, Ron, not good news for the Clemson Tiger fans, because I've been told by Dr. Larry Bowman, their orthopedic surgeon, that Rendrick Taylor, the sophomore wide receiver, has fractured his upper arm, the distal humerus, upper part of the arm. He just talked to Taylor's mom and dad and told them that he will have to operate on the young man sometime probably next week. So the young man, Rendrick Taylor, the wide receiver, done for the year.
Okay, Jared, thanks very much.
The injuries continue to pile up for Clemson. And down 2 starters on defense already, and now 2 receivers out, Ron.
Let's see if Winston-Salem's favorite sons here can put something on the board and come from behind. Play action. Here comes pressure. The ball is just thrown away as Skinner was really under some heavy pressure from Antonio Clay. Clay can really run. All 17 points, by the way, have come off turnovers for Clemson. How about that? 3 takeaways, 17 points.
Well, and it all started with their senior, Gaines Adams. Tommy Bowden wanted to know at halftime who would make a big play, and probably his best NFL prospect did make a big play. Now a good pickup on 2nd and 10 for Wake Forest. Now Steve Labotsky has his entire menu of misdirection on 3rd and short.
10 minutes, 20 seconds left to play in the ball game. Huge third down right here for the Deacs. From the 49, he's not going to have it. Kevin Harris hit behind the line of scrimmage. That is Philip Merlin, the sophomore out of Memphis Cordova High School, who was there to make the stop. And now Jim Grobe, I don't know how big the decision is. I would assume they got to punt the football with a 4th down and 2.
Well, and Swank has done such a nice job of downing it inside the 5-yard line. With the lost yardage, you have to punt. But how about Philip Merlin, the second half he is having, caused that fumble. He's a name that you don't call a lot because of Gaines Adams out there at the other defensive end, but the sophomore having a great second half.
Swank averaging 42.8, his longest 46 yards, and 3 have gone inside the 5-yard line. Hooch kick right here. Now, the deep man has run away from it again, and the ball is touched dead inside the 5. The Clemson special teams coaches have got to, you've got to catch the football.
Absolutely.
So, let's go back to the studio. Speaking of catching the football, here's a guy who'll do it for us. Reese Davis, what do you got?
Ron, I'll go across the middle and bring it right into my body. Got a little baseball for you. Padres and the Cardinals. Padres desperate. Getting a big knock in the 4th from Russell Branyan. Adrian Gonzalez. Mike Cameron would come around to score. And the Padres jumping on top of the Cardinals as St. Louis is trying to close out the series. 3-0 to score. Top 5, ESPN 2.
Okay, Reese, our situation, let me change one thing I said a moment ago, that he already had 3 punts inside the 5. Actually, that was the 3rd. The other time on the scrimmage, they picked up, or they recovered a fumble at the 2-yard line. Proctor keeps the ball, brings it out to the 10, slides down, close to the first down at about the 13.5-yard line. Josh Gaddis combining with Riley Swanson on the tackle.
And now Rob Spence gets back to where he's a little more comfortable as an offensive coordinator. He can call the plays. They don't have to think about downfield. I don't know that they've thrown one ball far down the field other than that fake screen earlier in the game to James Davis.
Pearson in motion, but they give it to Spiller straight ahead, and Spiller is going to have 4, almost 5 yards in the play. Chip Vaughn coming up from his free safety position to make the tackle. And now Wake Forest and Clemson got to start keeping an eye on the clock. We are tied at 17, 8:20 left. And as far as timeouts, Clemson has all 3 of theirs, and Wake Forest has only 1. In Hunter in motion that time, looking toward the boundary, gets the pass away, and it's thrown a little bit too far and incomplete. I tell you, the Clemson fans, there are a great number of them that are here. They didn't have a lot to cheer about for a good portion of this ball game. They were kind of sitting on their hands, but after they picked up the fumble and the big fella Gaines took it 66 yards for a touchdown, they have been on fire. And they've had a lot to cheer about as their team has come back and tied this football game.
One thing Dean Hood has made a living with is the corner blitz. Let's see if he's going to bring pressure from the top side.
Up, stays at home, pass over the middle, got that one complete to his tight end Hunter, and Hunter will have the first down. They will convert for the 3rd time on the afternoon. It'll move the sticks and keeping an eye on the clock.
Wake Forest goes to play coverage, and this ball thrown underneath the sticks, and an excellent job by the senior. Hunter saw where it was. It looked like he was going to get tackled short of it, ducked his head, and picked up an extra 2 yards for the first down.
He is their best tight end. They call him the best combo. He blocks well, and he also catches well.
Good finish there.
Spiller gets the handoff, goes to the right, has an opening. He's loose at midfield. Got one man that can catch him. That's Swanson, and he will not. 10-5, touchdown Clemson, 72 yards by C.J. Spiller. And the Tigers have come from nowhere all in the 4th quarter. Now they're on top, 23-17.
Tommy Bowden spent all that time with his dad at Florida State, and he's made great progress recruiting that state. has the last two 100-meter champions on this team, and that is C.J. Spiller, who ran a 10.42 100 meters last year to win the 100-meter dash in the state of Florida. They were not going to catch him once he got into the secondary.
Coaches say he is the fastest with the football, and I think he'll agree with that after watching that run. Here's the kick. A mad hook after it went through, but the kick is good. And just like that, with 7:22 remaining on the clock, it is the Tigers of Clemson 24 and the Demon Deacons 17. Let's take a break. This game is being broadcast on ESPN HD, presented by Pioneer Plasma Displays.
Well, Jim Grobe said they wanted to get into the fourth quarter in a close game. 21-0 so far in that quarter.
A touchdown run, the longest TD run by Clemson since 2002. And I'd almost make but I would venture to guess that before Spiller leaves there, that he will rewrite the record book as far as distance touchdowns. He has that kind of amazing speed. Look at this. First 5 games, Wake 31, opponent 7 in the fourth quarter scoring. Today, they've been outscored 21-0 in the fourth quarter. Everything happening with the exception of that one field goal back in the first half by Clemson in the fourth quarter. Pass thrown complete and out of bounds at around the 46-yard line. That's Nate Norton. Good for the first down. And now is not a time to panic.
No,
plenty of time on the clock.
The exact same point, Ron, that you still have to stick to your plan.
Yes.
This is not a drop back pass offense. They do it off of play fakes. They do it off of fake options, some misdirection, sneak a little zone inside play there. You've got plenty of time. Don't make the momentum feel like you're further behind than 7 points.
Well, a little more sense of urgency, but no panic. Pass near sideline, and the same thing. And that's going to be Nate Morton on the receiving end. And they're going to say he will pick up 11 yards this time. So that would be more than adequate if they just keep going down the field and doing that. Dwayne Coleman bumped him out of bounds. And you look at Lobo, Steve Lobatsky, they call him Lobo, easier that way. The offensive coordinator, 6th season here at Wake Forest. Skinner steps up into the pocket, drills the ball, and it's thrown behind Morton that time. Dr. Punch, let's check with you on the sideline.
Hey, Ron, talking about Steve Lobatsky. Remember what he told us yesterday in the meetings? He said, you know, we can be pretty efficient on our offense when we want to be, but sometimes against our own better judgment, we score too quickly and get ourselves in trouble. And so with 6:48 to play, it's the last thing they want to do is give the ball back to Clemson if they can score and give them time on the clock.
I think the first and foremost thing to do, I think they want to score. I'm not sure he's going to be disappointed if they score too quickly. Clemson shows blitz, but they stay at home. They only rush 4, and Skinner's going to run with it. He'd take it for a gain of about 5.
And that call just trying to get to a makeable third down. Remember, this is not, they're not a bread and butter drop back pass team. So Steve Lobatsky that time calling a safe quarterback draw to try to get him to a distance where there's more to defend for Clemson.
No huddle again, and Clemson had to sprint their change on defense out into the field. He's going to run it again, and boy, he gets hit from behind, and I hope the youngster's okay. He'll pick up the first down, but he didn't see the defender coming from behind. In fact, I'm trying to get his number right now.
Well, you should.
That was Gaines Adams. Wow.
Well, and we saw earlier when he got in the pocket, remember, this is a redshirt freshman who during camp was 3rd string. A couple of injuries has moved him up. He's got to get used to the fact that you're playing a team like Clemson. We have a penalty.
So holding, you can erase that run.
Wow.
Skinner gave up his body.
And Jeff Griffin, the right tackle. Another injury that happened earlier in the year was R.B. Jones, the starting left tackle. So they've had to flop Valos around, and Jeff Griffin in there gets the hold.
Well, they had the football down at the 31-yard line and lose 18 yards on the play, having to bring it back.
I think this is 4-down territory. Think about gaining yardage for a makeable 4th.
C.J. Gaddis with the interception, takes it all the way across the field and then steps out of bounds. And the Clemson Tigers have the football with 5 minutes and 45 seconds showing on the clock.
Well, early, for the first 3 quarters of the game, it looked like Clemson was going to mistake themselves right out of the lead in the Atlantic Division of the ACC. Now it's Wake Forest that's making the mistakes. The hold by Griffin gives them a 3rd and long, and then the quarterback just locks right in on it, and Gaddis does an excellent job. Remember, earlier, Gaddis got in trouble for looking at the quarterback on the touchdown to Idolette. This time, he squats and reads the eyes and makes a huge interception for Clemson.
Gaddis has had some very, very big plays in this ball game today. Clemson leading by 7, and they'd like to put the icing on top of the birthday party here. Run goes straight ahead for a couple. That's it. Aaron Curry making the tackle. But we're about to go into 5 minutes left to play. Wake Forest has but 1 timeout remaining.
Well, and for Tommy Bowden, he told us that he felt like Dr. Punch gave us the report earlier about how much they've struggled after some big games and struggled against some opponents that everyone expected them. They were almost a 3-touchdown favorite coming into this game, so a lot of people, of course, expecting them to win. But I think Tommy's right. This team may be over the hump because they could have packed it in, Ron, towards the end of that 3rd quarter, and they just didn't do it.
Davis, right side, breaks it open, has 10 yards, counted off at 12, and he'll move the sticks. Patrick G comes up from his strong safety position to make the tackle, and Davis gets up a little gimpy. He is grabbing his right leg, and they'll replace him as he comes to the sideline.
He doesn't want to come out. He was upset and embarrassed that he was not in at the end of the game on the goal line against Boston College. He feels like this is the time of the game that he worked so hard during the summer when they're trying to eat the clock. This young man wants to be on the field.
C.J. Spiller, who had the long run for a touchdown just a moment ago, checks back in at tailback. First down Clemson from the 35. He goes straight ahead, tries to cut it back door, and he is going to be stopped, they'll say, at around the 31-yard line.
Well, a game that looked like it was going to be 20-3. A few moments ago has turned around. Of course, early in the game, Bryant fumbles, and the huge play by Gaines Adams. Young quarterback not knowing where the rush is coming from, and then just his eyes took Gaddis right to that ball. A little bit of a late throw, but he just locked in on that side, and Gaddis made him pay. That's his first interception that he's thrown this year. By the way, this is a season high for Wake Forest in turnovers. They had given up 4. Straight ahead on this run, really protecting the football with C.J. Spiller. That's the most important thing right now. If they get it in the end zone anytime soon, it won't be a bad thing, but the clock still shows 3:15 and running. They just want to hold on to the ball and not give it back to the Deacons. Yep, and that's exactly what Rob Spence is doing. He brings his big bodies in. Alex Pearson, really the only fullback, comes in to play the wingman. You've got everybody at the line of scrimmage for Clemson. No surprises here.
Hunter and Robinson in the ball game at tight end. That's Pearson at fullback. And they throw the pass. Spiller, 20, 15, knocked out of bounds at the 11-yard line by Swanson. And that will be a first down plus about 15 yards. But it will not be 1st and goal. It'll be 1st and 10. The ball at the 11-yard line.
And guess what the veterans are telling C.J. Spiller when he comes back to the huddle? Hey, rookie. Slide when you get over near the sideline. We're trying to burn clock. Granted, we'd love to get in for a score, but the shorter we can make this game, the better.
Well, only 41 second-half yards for Wake Forest. And right now, they're looking at a really difficult situation. 24-17, they're down, and Clemson threatening. And now this offense working on all cylinders. That's Spiller who goes straight ahead and is tackled at the 10-yard line.
Now for the guys in black, Ron, stand up, the young running back, and everybody else try to rip the ball out. You're at that stage where Clemson's just going to be content. They can run the play action now because Wake Forest has to commit guys to the box. That's exactly what they ran to pick up the first down to Spiller a moment ago.
Well, no surprise. Spiller with a long touchdown run over 100 yards. He's at 105. And James Davis checks back in, the outstanding sophomore out of Douglas High School in Atlanta, Georgia. And they'll give it to Davis. Big horses in front. Puts a head down. He takes it around the 6-yard line. Now under 2 to play. John Abadi coming over from that middle linebacking spot. And I have a feeling that with this loss, if it does occur, and it's looking more and more like Clemson will pull off the come-from-behind victory, Abadi is going to be one of those guys that's not going to want to leave the field. Emotionally, this one will be a very, very bitter pill to swallow. I mean, they had this not only in their grasp, they had it. And they shot themselves in the foot. Davis hit before he gets to the line of scrimmage. It's going to be 4th down.
Well, and I don't know that Tommy, they've had 4 blocked. We had 1 tipped on the PAT that went through. And Wake Forest takes their timeout.
Final one. Yep. 1:17 showing on the clock. Yeah, he has not been automatic on extra points.
I got to tell you, I don't know if I'm Clemson I kick this thing. Jad Dean, he's been slow on his get-offs. He's been driving the ball pretty low. They had 3 kicks in a row blocked between Boston College and Florida State. Florida State returned 1 for a 2-point defensive conversion and 1 for a touchdown. And I don't think the problem saw it. They felt like it was, but we saw earlier that PAT came out low.
Now let's show you what Clemson has done in the 4th quarter. Remember, it was Wake running the clock out to get to the 4th quarter, and they fumble the snap. Throws the timing off. The ball is hit. James Adams takes it out of the air, scores the touchdown. They get the ball right back on another turnover. Touchdown. And then this long-distance C.J. Spiller run. And that's how the Clemson Tigers have come from really, they were not only in the jaws of defeat, I mean, they were about to be defeated. It was about to be 20-3 on the field goal. And just like that, that's how it changed. And they are trying to totally close it away with the field goal and go up to a 10-point margin with 1:17 left.
Well, I think I've got to go for it on 4th and 5 here, Ron. You've got the best defense in the conference. You've shut down Wake Forest in the second half nearly completely. And as many times as I've seen kicks get blocked this season, I'm not so sure I want Jad Dean trying this field goal right now.
Well, let's see if Wake Forest can do that. It's going to be a 23-yard attempt, which means he'll get under it and try to get it up very quickly. Not like a distance job. Ball is down. Kick has plenty of distance, and he got it. And with that, a 10-point margin with 1:12 showing on the clock. And let's go back to the studio quickly and check in with Reese Davis. Reese?
All right, Ron, checking in on Penn State and Minnesota. 14-all, getting late in the 4th on a 3rd and goal play. Anthony Morelli to Matt Hahn out of the backfield. Joe Paterno's team up by 7 inside, 5 minutes to go there. Arkansas still beating Auburn. This would be the bombshell upset of the season. Don't forget, we got the scoreboard show coming up momentarily.
Okay, Reese, something tells me that that young freshman quarterback must have played extremely well, along with, of course, all of his teammates. But Arkansas, you talk about getting yourself well mentally, that would be gigantic, because they got their hopes shattered and their emotions shattered when they played Southern Cal in that opening ball game.
And that was the game that they decided to go with Mitch Mustaine, the true freshman. And looks like it's a wise decision by Houston Nutt and his staff.
Well, they got a gift from Alabama in a game that the Tide should have won, but they kicked themselves out of that one. They didn't shoot themselves in the foot, and but that would be gigantic. And Tommy Tuberville, well, I don't think they would be looking ahead, but that's one that he will be shocked over, like many other people, to lose it to Arkansas.
Well, and when you have guys like Gaines Adams, you hope that in games like this they'll make big plays. And that just changed the entire complexion. This crowd almost a third from Clemson, and they hadn't made a peep until that play in the 4th quarter.
Well, they kicked this one on the ground, taking it to the 35-yard line, and that's, I believe, Belton, the fullback. Yeah, he'll take it out to the 44-yard line. Tommy said it best, though. Tommy Bowden. He said, we got to have somebody step up. Jerry Punch reported to us that at halftime, he said, hey, guys, and who's it going to be? And, well, first it was Gaines Adams, a guy who is projected as an all-conference performer, maybe even an All-American. And he stepped up. And then the youngster. How about the running of C.J. Spiller with a long-distance touchdown run from scrimmage? And those two things within themselves were just gigantic in the turnaround. Sack will occur at the 36-yard line. And now the Demon Deacons are just running out of demons to help them. The Demons are now getting after them. We're under 50 seconds to play, and they're down by 10. Second time that they have gotten to Skinner, and it was Gaines Adams again.
Well, and with Arby Jones out, he's normally your starting tackle. Steve Valos gets turned, and Gaines Adams, he has such long arms, Ron, and he's so good with his hands. Just pushes Valos to the outside and closes on the quarterback. What a prospect.
Pass comes to the tight end right here in front of us, Tarashinsky, and John is bumped out of bounds. Where do they say? Around the 41-yard line.
Gaines Adams didn't even want to play football in high school. Steve Tannehill, the former South Carolina quarterback, was his coach and talked him into coming out to play at Cambridge Academy. And he played wide receiver, went to Fort Union, and played defensive end, and the rest is history.
Pass right over the middle, thrown a little bit behind, but Idolette made the reception. And he's being pushed all the way back to the 40, and they've given him forward progress to the 45. Clock is at 9. It's down to 8. And the Clemson Tigers are going to get themselves a victory over a Wake Forest team that look at the hug. You see
that's
who he's hugging?
To thank. Absolutely.
That's Gaines Adams is the man who stepped up, and that's the guy that the head coach ran for to give him a hug. Gaines Adams, our player of the game, presented by Cooper Tires. Two sacks in the ball game, the touchdown, 66 yards. And Gaines receiving a hug from his coach. And let's go down to the sideline, and Dr. Punch is with Tommy Bowden.
Well, Coach, you're down by 14, about to go down by 17, and the fourth quarter came on, and something happened. What happened?
Well, you know, we need somebody sparkles to make a play. That's kind of what we talked about at halftime. They had been making every single play. We were in position, didn't make it. Finally, Gaines Adams made a play. Spiller broke one. Momentum changed, and then they couldn't make one to get it back.
What does this come from behind win do for your team in terms of what happens in the next few weeks?
Well, we've had some bad things happen here in the past. You know, I think from a confidence standpoint, we've had a lot of players out. We've been able to absorb several losses, including Chancey Stuckey's. Now, I think just kind of shot in the arm. We kind of need this going to a short week with Temple on Thursday night.
And now you get to walk away from this place with a win for a change.
Doesn't happen very often. I'll enjoy this.
Hey, congratulations.
Thanks, Jerry.
Ron?
Okay, Jerry, thanks very much. So the bottom line on this one is 24 unanswered points by the Clemson Tigers. And yes, somebody did step up like the head coach wanted them to do, and that was our player of the game, Gaines Adams, with a 66-yard fumble return. So the final score is Clemson 27 and the Deacons 17. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Up next, ESPN College Football Scoreboard, presented by Acura.